Hello and welcome back to Monster Hunter Generations, where today we're going to be doing a deviant quest that will not have so much poison flying around. Though it may have other things flying around. Because it's time for Drill Tusk. So this is one of the easier deviants, in my opinion at least. It does have dramatically boosted damage over regular Tetsukabra, but as far as its moveset is concerned, the biggest new thing is it picks up bigger rocks and then just kind of carries them around. And I mean, swinging the rocks around is technically an attack, but it's not a really nasty one. And the only other new move that I can recall off the top of my head is the super jump, which hurts a lot if it hits you. But it's got such a long wind-up and actually such a polished hitbox that it's pretty tough for it to actually score a hit with it and do any real damage. So I'm not really too worried about that. And unless I'm misremembering, this guy actually is one of the most resistant monsters to the mount status in the game. Which is kind of interesting. You wouldn't expect it to be, you know, this guy. But whatever. Yeah, as you can see, he picks up big rocks, carries them around like sub sandwiches. That's roughly what shape they are. And just, you know, is in general proud of himself for having them. Oh boy. This is the super jump, by the way. Ow. Thank you, defender. Yeah, okay. Of course, it stands to reason that pretty much right after I get done talking about how, oh yeah, this one's not so bad, and that one move, sure, it does a lot of damage, but it's easy to avoid. Of course, I get tagged by it and then end up carting. Because really, it wouldn't be a very interesting experience if that didn't happen, now would it? It's just the way things go. But yeah, I'm going to maintain that the reason I got hit by that is because of the stun. And because I was mashing all the buttons, which included B, that first dodge ended up really screwing me because I couldn't dodge a second time before he landed. Had I actually not been mashing B, I probably could have avoided that, I think. Of course, we'll never get to know now, will we? Okay, guy. Time for us to get back to this. Okay, I can just miss twice. That's a thing. Okay. It always weirds me out how that rock breaks apart later than regular Tetsukabra's rocks. It waits like a couple frames before breaking. So I'll often dodge the slam down, but the slam down isn't part of the attack. It's the rock actually breaking that is. Yep, just swinging that rock around. Doesn't really do much, but I guess it does build up stun, which can be lethal. Alright. Let's just go ahead and give him some of this. We didn't really need the refill, but it is my highest damage per second move to use when it's active. Over the course of a hunt, it's actually incredibly low damage per second. Simply because it's not ready so often. So basically, you gotta take the time it takes to get ready and figure that into its damage per second, I guess. Technically. Of my attacks, it is the highest damage per button press. That much is for certain. Okay. I just failed that up. Didn't expect the shockwave to actually be such a large radius. I've actually never been hit by that like that. I guess I've been really good at dodging the damage and getting hit by the tremor, which is why I thought that it was a fairly small and good hitbox. But I guess I was wrong. Oh well. Could have dodged it with a Superman dive, but I'm adept, so I don't really try and use those. And at least this time it didn't end up killing me. If I had died from it, that would be unpleasant. Much like getting the break from the first hit instead of the second there. That's unpleasant too. Nice job with the bomb there, Cat. Damn it, Frog. Why you always gotta keep dodging my second Spirit Slash? That's the one that I want to hit with. Okay, let's try and make our camera not just entirely Frog. That's better. I like how he's got such distinct face markings. Like, visually, he's one of the least distinct from his base species, because they're basically the same colors. And there's not too much changed about him. He does have a bigger tusk and some bigger ridges on his back. But other than that, there's not too much actual, like, difference in shape. And yet, they use the facial markings to make him more distinct, which is nice. Argyros also doesn't have a real difference in shape, other than, like, I think he's got some bigger hair, and of course he's got the more spiky claws, slash braces. I guess braces is what they call them. Dodged into that too early. But Argyros, they really vary up the color to make up for it. Whereas Tetsucabra, they didn't really vary the color. Lagombi's got the, like, butt mohawk going on, and they changed his color a bit. Yeah, this guy, they're just like, hey, let's give him some cool markings. And I respect that. It's pretty neat. Like, Dread Queen, they changed her color, made her tail have nastier spikes, and may or may not have given her back nastier spikes. I don't recall. I know Dread King, they absolutely made his back have nastier spikes. But yeah, from a visual standpoint, I think this guy is the closest deviant to the base species. He just smushed a Bonahabra. Poor thing. Okay. Wasn't expecting him to follow up that first jump with another leap. Then again, he is a frog. Ow. Don't just bonk me on the head with your rock. Yeah, that's right. So now he can't get as big of rocks. Still bigger than what regular Tetsucabra can get once you've broken his tusks. So he keeps the challenge above regular Tetsucabra. Also, that's another thing regular Tetsucabra can't do. I don't think he can bring up two big rocks from the ground to serve as walls like this guy can. But whatever. This guy is definitely Tetsucabra, but more Tetsucabra, whereas some of the deviants are this monster plus something new. Like Silverwind, Nargacuga, which we'll see later, adds something new on top of regular Narga. And Hellblade Glavenus adds something new on top of Glavenus, as we have seen. And yeah, it's interesting how different the deviants can be. Okay, I really should be healing right now, but since he is in this trap... Okay, let's get out of there instead of hitting R again. Whew, that was a good dodge. As in, good that it happened. Also, buddy, that rock seems a bit big for you. Especially with no tusks to help you hold it. Oh yes, thank you for poking me with your rock. I definitely needed to be rock poked. I would go for the back and try and break it, but trying to do that without rides is a little bit foolish. And he is limping away. So unless things go horribly wrong like they did with the Rathians, which I don't expect will happen, this quest is probably going to end in success. That is my prediction. Of course, it's not an unqualified success, because I did faint once, but it happens. Wow, that was fast. I kind of want to try and dodge off a Jaggy so that I can get more gauge before the second Tetsukabra shows up, but I don't think they would be kind enough to sit in one spot for the Spirit Slashes. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get to where the second Tetsukabra spawns so that I can be ready for it. I think there's Alteroths in there. I think I'm going to use those to fill up my meter. Because if I've got full meter when it spawns in, then we are just dropping it in a pit right away. And then I'll Sakura Slash its face. So, pit going down. And let's smack another one of these. I don't know that it actually counts towards keeping the meter full longer if I do that. I don't think it does, but it feels good sometimes. There he is. Looks like I was a little bit off here. Yeah, that's right. Step forward. Okay, I'm not entirely certain that second one actually hit the tusks, but still doesn't stop me from hitting them. And one tusk already broken. That's a good start. Ooh, and he was kind enough to burrow his way into that without burrowing his way into me. That is great. All right. So hopefully we're not going to have any more mix-ups like we did with the first one. And this frog will just go completely smoothly so that I can at least save some face after the embarrassment that was earlier in this quest. But we'll see. I'm not quite sure what sent me flying there, but okay. I think it might have been the hitbox on him turning, but we were nowhere near the rock. Ooh, I accidentally double tapped X. Did not mean to do that. Okay. And here he comes, bringing his sandwich. And there we go. Kind of him to wait for the second slash this time. Oh, we didn't really hit with many of those. But that's always a possibility. Well, I mean, we're here. There wasn't much he could do to us where we were, so that's why I just went to town with the spirit slashing. Yeah. I would say this is among the easier deviants, whereas Dread Queen is definitely among the harder ones, simply because of her poison. Like, if you took the same moves and just removed the deadly poison, Or even the noxious poison. Remove the noxious poison and the deadly poison, then it would be too easy. But remove just the deadly poison. Like, if her tail was broken from the start, then she would be a much easier monster. I mean, that's exactly why they only have deadly poison on the tail flips in low rank, because it makes her way easier. Yeah. Red Helm is, I'd say, not really among the easier deviants, simply because of how high they pump his damage. Snow Baron, definitely among the easier ones. Just bring Bind Resist, and it's a complete non-threat. That's right, Frog. Wow, we broke the tusk while he was jumping. That's great. Stonefist Hermitar, I'd say also among the easier deviants. Only real tough thing about him is managing his size and therefore the amount of damage it takes to bring him down. Because, yeah, just he's big and he sticks around. His damage output isn't huge, except with a couple attacks, and with a few exceptions, his attacks are fairly easy to dodge. Then Dread Queen, hard. Then this guy, easy. Who else is there? I'll rate him as I fight him on camera. Oh, Hellblade is among the harder ones. Simply damage output and blast. Such a fun combo, you know? Though he's also one of the ones against whom Adept is really, really good. Because he can't string his attacks together too well, for the most part. He's got a couple he can, but for the most part, if you're Adept and dodge one of his attacks, then he's just not hitting you anytime soon. Ow. Dang it. And if you watched my last viewer hunt stream, you saw me fighting some Dread Kings there. I have some trouble with Dread Kings, but that's mainly because of how much time they spend in the sky and how high their damage gets pumped. Like, if I'm going to Dread King 9 with this armor, you know, fully upgraded, so I've got a lot of defense, but if I don't eat for fire res, then I have -3 fire res, and it really, really hurts when he hits with his fire attacks. Also, the fact that they gave him noxious poison on his claw attacks is pretty nasty, because they do a good amount of damage by themselves, and then the noxious poison on top of that just makes it very dangerous. I'm glad I flinched him out of that. That was not a good time to use Sakura Slash. I wasn't aware that he could actually turn while charging that up. I thought he would just sit facing one way. Of course, I really don't know what I was thinking, because if he did just sit facing one way and was still able to jump on me, then, well, it didn't matter what way he's facing, does it? Because if he's sitting there just charging that up, he's not really moving, he's just turning. Still, would have liked to go for this leg, because it's going to break soon. See? It already broke. That's how soon it was going to break. And he is tired and poisoned. Not bad. Dodged too early. It's a shame. Oh, but he's dead, so that's fine. Oh, I should have stopped to grab a freaking Farcaster when I died. Keep forgetting these are Huntathons and not just Hunt 2s. If it was just a hunt 2, well, then I would just have to hunt 2 and then be done with it. But since it is a hunt-a-thon, I have to hunt 2 and then turn in a ticket. Which means I gotta get back to base camp. And from where I was just then, there's not really any fast way to the base camp. If we went through the east path, then that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 load screens. Going through this path is 1, 2, 3, 4 load screens. A bit closer together this way, I think. So, yeah, no fast way. And then we could have taken the south path as well, which would also be 4 load screens. But a bit farther apart than the west path, I think. Maybe. Not entirely certain on that one, but... Oh, we would have had to climb some vines, so yeah, that would have been slower. Grabbing what I can keep. Oops. And I guess also some things I can't. And then turning in this paw pass, we are done with this quest. Look at those birds, almost perfectly frozen in the sky. They don't move much. Like they go a couple pixels here and there, but I guess they're on updraft. Oh, that one's going fast now. The one that's inside the U. Yeah, most of the time they just go a couple pixels at a time, really slowly. And the fact that there's no animation whatsoever on them other than just them sliding makes it look a little odd, but then again, they're not terribly important. Most people aren't going to spend much time looking at them. And this is a 3DS game, so they do have to spend their resources wisely. And I think they did with how good the monsters look and how good the characters move for the most part. There's still some pretty bad clipping with character armor, but the monsters especially is where it really needed to be focused to have things really look good, and they did that. So I can't complain too much. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Join us next time when we fight another deviant. I don't remember which one's next, but it's one of them. See you then, friends.